Let us understand public policy issues with highway. Highway is nothing but information superhighway. Before we understand what are all the public policy issues that are related with information superhighway, but let us understand what does it mean highway, that is nothing but information superhighway. The information superhighway, also known as the highway, is a high-speed network with telephone wires, optical fiber cables, cellular and satellite networks. That is, information superhighway is nothing but a high-speed wired or wireless network. It consists of millions of systems, communication networks, and software. So all these things put together, millions of systems, communication networks, and software forms what is known as the information superhighway. Such information superhighway carries multimedia, where multimedia is nothing but different forms of data like text, audios, images, videos, animations, graphical representation of data, or tabular representation of data. So this multimedia gets traveled using this information superhighway across the globe. Now let us understand all the public policy issues that are related with highway, that is information superhighway. First issue is price. Several experts say that the governments should build, own, and operate the highway infrastructure. However, some others feel that it is the private operators who are good, and it is believed that it is the private operators who can provide the better services than the government operators. However, with coexistence of both public and private operators, people may get benefited with low prices due to competition. Second issue is subsidies. The developers of highway infrastructure need subsidies. If at all private operators develop the highway infrastructure, certainly they need subsidies, tax benefits as an encouragement, because of which the cost of building the highway infrastructure gets reduced. Not only the highway infrastructure developers, the non-profit organizations, educational institutions, hospitals must also be given subsidy on the equipment for utilization of services. So people make use of the services for which a kind of equipment is required. So the government should give subsidy at least to non-profit organizations, educational institutions, and hospitals, especially on the equipment that is required for utilization of services. Next one is allocation of poorly available resources. There are some resources which are poorly available, and it is the government that should streamline their distribution so that the small scale industry gets benefited. Next issue is regulations. The private operators always feel that the government should not supervise or regulate them if they build the highway infrastructure. It is true also, because private operators invest a lot of amount in building the highway infrastructure. So certainly the private operators feel that the government should not supervise or regulate them if at all they build the highway infrastructure by spending lot of amount. However, to have better public access and To ensure privacy of customers, certainly there is a need of government intervention and government regulations. Next issue is universal access. Generally, profit making organizations can be charged more. However, certain customers must be offered at lower prices, especially hospitals, educational institutions, non-profit oriented organizations. Such people must be offered at lower prices. Then number of remote customers or poor customers also increase who get connected to the information superhighway. Further, satellite communications are best suited for them than wired connections because using satellites we can get the connectivity at any point. That is the biggest advantage of satellite communications over and above terrestrial wired connections. And very last issue is privacy and social issues. Some religious countries do not permit the freedom of expression. And at the same time, in some other countries, women are denied the access to the internet. However, the cyberspace is considered as the symbol of freedom of expression. Further, the information superhighway infrastructure should provide the privacy to the consumers. So, these are all the public policy issues that are related with information superhighway.